Just a few days ago, we saw everything that happened in the Community Shield game between Crystal Palace and Liverpool. As a Liverpool fan, I'm very embarrassed by our performance in that game. We lost in a very disgraceful manner. I mean, it's penalty shootouts, but even when it comes to penalty shootouts, there are some type of qualities you would expect from this Liverpool squad. But everything about the Community Shield is done and dusted. I know many people are saying it's not a major trophy, it's not a serious game, it's a preseason game. But one thing I know is that I would have celebrated us winning it. It didn't happen, so I'm not going to dwell on that so much. But this time around, we are expecting another interesting game, which would happen just tomorrow against PSG, the champions of Europe and Europa League winners, talking of Tottenham Hotspur. So that's everything we'll be looking into in this video. But before we get to that, let me give you a bit of a breaking news which Liverpool fans are going to like and Newcastle fans are not going to enjoy this one, and that is regarding Alexandra Isak. The latest is that Isak has moved out of his Newcastle home. Yes, he's doing everything possible to get his move out of Newcastle and move over to Liverpool. We know everything that has been happening during pre-season tour and until this very moment, and just this morning we are getting this information that he's moving out of his Newcastle home. So this is surely a positive news for Liverpool fans that are expecting him to be a Liverpool player by the beginning of next season. We'll still have to pay attention and see what becomes of that. So let's move over to the talk of today, talking about the UEFA Super Cup. There is really nothing much to talk about at this moment because the game has not been played. But let's just do a very quick preview of a couple of things. We know that PSG last season, oh my God, they basically had their best season in recent years that last season. They were in line to win everything they were involved in. Yes, every competition they got into, they basically won everything except their last competitive game, which ended in a very dramatic way because it's the Club World Cup fixture that they played against Chelsea. We understand that they were in the competition until the final moment, talking about that final between them and Chelsea. And going into that game, more than 90% of the people were expecting PSG to bully Chelsea. Yes, many of us were expecting PSG to basically run them down, drag them through the mud and get a win. But what we saw in that place was very surprising. Like, it was very different from what everyone expected. But then that's also football. That's the thing we like about football. You can never fully predict what could happen. It's just like the game against Crystal Palace that Liverpool played over the weekend. Very few people gave Crystal Palace chance of winning, but we saw what happened. They got the win and they are celebrating their win. So this time around, PSG lost against Chelsea, but they are back again. It's basically still the same squad, still the same coach, and the way they perform in this Super Cup would have so much to say about how ready they are to get into another interesting season, which we know is already very close. I mean, the season is starting over the weekend. In 3 days from now, the first Premier League game will be played by Liverpool. So the season is also very close. And a lot of attention is on this Super Cup. I mean, it is one of those competitions. When it comes to competitions like Super Cup, Community Shield, it is one of those competitions that if your club is not playing it, you would easily overlook it and say, it's not a major trophy. Of course, it is not a prolific trophy like winning the league. And it is also not as prolific as winning the Champions League. But there is something on the line. There is a trophy on the line. And winning it just at the beginning of the season is surely something I would like to experience if my club was playing it. So for this particular game, it would be interesting to see what would unfold between PSG and Tottenham Hotspur. Now, going over to the team news of PSG, there is basically just one news that is making the round, and it is regarding their goalkeeper, Donnarumma. That news is actually very surprising to me because everything seems to be okay. Last season, they basically played at their best. They won almost everything. So you would imagine that this guy is very happy in PSG, but it turns out that that's not really the case. He's saying he wants to get a move, and PSG has also come out to say, yeah, he can make the move. If he's ready to move, this is what we are asking of. They placed a price tag. I can't remember the exact figure, but when I saw the figure, it's actually very cheap compared to what we are seeing in this current transfer window. I mean, Isak is out there. I mean, Isak is a striker, he's not a goalkeeper. But if you check the transfer window, the price that is being paid for several players, like a good example would be someone like Kwanzaa that went to Leverkusen. You know how much we got from that particular deal. So for someone like Donnarumma, with the type of experience that he have, with the type of competence he has proven to have, and with everything he has already won just last season alone, you would think that, oh, he's going to be a lot more expensive than he actually is. But that's not the case. The price is actually very cheap, and we know that Manchester United, I don't care if they are interested or not, but they should be very interested in that deal. They should be really looking into that to get Donnarumma into their squad, because if they are getting into this season with someone like Onana, he's not someone I trust. I mean, I'm not a Manchester United fan, but in all honesty, I don't rate Onana that much. So the good news though is that Manchester United seems to be interested in that deal, and in the last 24 hours it is actually getting interesting because Chelsea has also shown interest. So on one side we have Manchester United, on the other side we have Chelsea. It is now left for them to reach personal agreement with him and then reach club to club agreement. Then we'll know where Donnarumma is going to end up. And one of the things that makes it obvious that this move is surely going to happen is that he's already left out of their match squad for the game that we play tomorrow. Yes, I saw the list. I saw the full match list, and he's not part of that squad. So that's already a sign that he has to make his move, and he has to make that move as soon as possible. Now, going over to the side of Tottenham Hotspur, a big congratulations to you guys for winning that trophy last year. And I would have been very pissed off if Heung-min Son finished his 10 years in Tottenham without winning anything. So the fact that he was able to win it in his final year as a Tottenham player is something I'm very happy about. I'm just happy about it because the guy deserves that particular trophy. He deserves to win at least something before wrapping up his career in the top flight league. So back to Tottenham Hotspur now. There is a very big concern regarding their squad. I mean, they got a new manager, Thomas Frank, and it's actually a very good choice because where they ended last season in the league, despite the fact that they won their first title in so many years, is not where they would want to be in subsequent years. So the fact that they picked up someone like Thomas Frank, and their activity in the transfer market haven't been that loud, but they've made one very good signing. Talking about Kudus. Kudus is a very interesting signing. But after that particular signing of Kudus, they've not really been very active until recently, where we realized that they are quite interested in getting a couple of other players. So for now, those things are still rumors until we get a confirmation regarding them. But if you look at their squad list now, Maddison just picked up an injury. I think it was last week that he picked up that injury while playing in Korea. So that was when he picked up a very stinky injury, which means they are going to start the season without him. Solanke has been injured for a while. Udogie has also been injured for a very long time now. So you are very sure that they are starting without any of these players, including Son. So it's not really looking good for them. On paper, it seems like one of those games where PSG would walk into, run through it, get an easy win and walk out. But this is one of those games also where you could see an upset and see a very unexpected result. And I'm all in for that. So whatever becomes of it, once the game starts, we would see all about that. And by 90th minute, we would realize if the Super Cup winners are PSG or Spurs. So look forward to my post-match reaction to that particular game. And if you are coming here for the first time, this is a perfect time to connect with the channel, subscribe, like, and stay in touch because we're about to start our first footballing season. And I want all of us to get into it together. See you on the next one.